Can you theoretically blow yourself up going down Red Canyon Trail? Yes, theoretically you can, but it's highly unlikely. Instead, you're going to see a bunch of cool stuff, such as this bridge, this old railroad bridge, and a bunch of other neat things, such as the Red Canyon. We're going to take this Lexus down this Jeep trail today. It starts right here. This is the beginning by these two posts. Just look at the YouTube description for the GPS start point and the GPS end point, which will be at that bridge, that old railroad bridge that you just saw a moment ago. So welcome back to the channel, everyone. This is the Red Canyon Jeep Trail, and it is near Indio, California, and it is in the Colorado desert, which is essentially where the Colorado desert and the Mojave desert meet. This is in Southern California, and please watch this video to see if this is the type of trail that you'd be interested in going down. The internet rates this trail as moderate, and these trail posts that you see on the trail also have indicators on them that rate this trail as moderate as well. So of course this is subjective, so take a look at what you see here, take a look at the terrain, and you can decide for yourself if this is the type of trail that you want to go down. We're going to be highlighting the terrain most of all in the real world, and again, you decide if it's for you. Right now you're seeing a lot of ups and downs, like a roller coaster ride, but it's essentially a dirt road here in the beginning. And this is all in order from start to finish, so you get a pretty good idea by the time you're done with this video of what's involved with this trail. Now, again, for reference, the vehicle used here is a 2021 Lexus GX 460. That's just for reference. All sorts of vehicles have gone down this trail, including many all-wheel drive vehicles as well. But again, the internet will have it rated as moderate, and the actual trail rating is moderate as well. Up ahead, we have some campers to the right, and we have one of the only vehicles seen on the trail, which is I'm not sure what kind of pickup truck it is, but we had to kind of squeeze by each other here. And this was the only other vehicle, meaning I should say road legal vehicle, witnessed the entire trail, which is an in and out trail, which is approximately 13 miles one way, so about 26 miles in and out. When I say in and out, I mean start to finish and back will be approximately 23 miles. There were vehicles at the end, very end of this trail, other vehicles, but they were dedicated all-terrain recreational vehicles. You know, those side-by-side things that they're not street legal, but there was about 4 of those at the end of this trail. So as you can see, again, it starts out as a very roller coaster like dirt road, but it will transition into some more interesting stuff, and there's really only one obstacle or challenge, if you will, on this trail, which I don't think has a name, so we'll just call it a sharp turn with a bank. So a sharp banked turn followed by a steep sandy hill. So you will see in this video how this vehicle does against that obstacle, and then you can again decide for yourself if you want to take Red Canyon Trail or not. There's nothing necessarily challenging with the obstacle that you're going to face, which is about midway through the trail. It's just a steep hill and it's sandy. So again, you decide if that is something you want to do or something you want to pass on. Now, it's called Red Canyon Trail because there's a really neat red canyon that you'll pass through. It's really neat because it's red, so that's unusual for this area of California. Looks like something that you would see in Utah. You can't really drive down into the canyon, but you can see the canyon off to the side. So you'll be essentially driving parallel to the Red Canyon. And on either side of the Red Canyon, but especially, I believe, to the south, is a military live bombing range. And there's signs scattered throughout warning drivers to stay on the trail and not deviate from the trail, because there's live munitions essentially that pose an obvious risk to travelers. So again, that's something to keep in mind. Chances of that happening are slim, but I would respect the signs because, you know, there's no fencing or anything like that, so you could deviate from the trail on your own and do whatever you want, I suppose, but you run the risk of self-destruction, explosive self-destruction. So with that in mind, it's recommended to stay on the trail and heed the warning of the signs. While you're out here, you may see some military aircraft. I didn't see any bombs being dropped or anything like that, but I definitely saw we saw an F-16, I believe, and a C-130 type of aircraft. But they do fly low and fast in this region. So the landscape starts to get a little bit reddish, which is cool. Maybe that's, you know, kind of leads into the canyon, and the redness follows. So anyway, point is you're going into this reddish red canyon. So it'll start getting redder as you go forward. And those plants that you see sticking up are, I think you say them Osotio plants. So there's a few of those out here which are neat to look at. And you'll see some yucca trees. And after you pass the Red Canyon, which is up ahead, you'll essentially end up in a wash and see all sorts of desert plants, if that's your sort of thing. Here is a dip. Not really an obstacle, but it's a dip. Of course, it never shows up on camera the way it does in real life. So take it with okay, so now we're down on the ground here, and you'll get a view from the driver's perspective, and the camera is horizon stabilized, so the craziness that you see in the foreground, in other words, the hood of the vehicle, bank angling all over the place, is what the truck itself is doing in reference to road. So you get an idea of the angles we're talking about here. It smooths a lot of it out, but I think it gives you a nicer view of the terrain, while still conveying just how far your vehicle will tilt, if that makes any sense. So as you approach this area, you're going to be getting closer to the halfway point, which is where this kind of only obstacle in the whole thing is. And that's a sharp, from this direction, left turn, followed by relatively steep section. There's some of those Osotio plants, those things that kind of stick straight up in the air, which is pretty cool. And some vehicle references again. Let's say it's a GX 460. There's no lift on it, so it's stock height. The bumper is cut. The side steps are cut. And the front skid plate, which is the lowest hanging point on the vehicle, is a little bit thicker than stock. Other than that, the rest of the vehicle is stock. Again, including the height and the tires. These are on regular all-season road tires. And the PSI is the stock PSI, which is 32 PSI. And as far as vehicle drive modes, most of this was done in 4 high. with the center differential lock, which is essentially just 4 high. There were some sections coming back, since they were steeper coming back, that we went to 4 low just to slow things down a bit. But nothing that couldn't have been done in, say, an all-wheel drive that doesn't have low range, if you just work the brakes a little bit. So here we have the kind of beginnings of the Red Canyon part, which will be ahead and to your right. As you can see, the ground is redder, but the video really doesn't pick it up here because it is, again, this trail is parallel to the Red Canyon. Okay, here's the obstacle now. Take a sharp left turn right by that kind of barricade there. Sharp left turn, which will then be followed by a oops, I don't think that was it. Oh no, this is it. Yeah, followed by a uphill. That's the first uphill, and then you have another uphill.
Part 1, easy. Part 2, easy.
And,
It's enough.
that's pretty much it as far as any obstacles. That's the only challenge, or obstacle, or whatever you want to call it, on the course. So you know, that's probably the only thing I'd consider if that's something. The camera doesn't show how steep it is, and the vehicle handled it extremely well. So just keep in mind that it is steep and it is kind of soft. So whatever you're taking out, just keep that in mind. But again, I believe there's videos out there with all-wheel drive cars getting up there. So it shouldn't be a problem. But again, something to note. So again, more reddishness. And the Red Canyon is to the right side, which unfortunately is off camera, but you'll see it when you're doing this, and then it will be worth it. It's really neat. Once you get past the Red Canyon, you're going to enter this wash here, and we're almost done. We're almost going to be at the bridge here, and the bridge is an old abandoned railroad bridge, presumably to go to some sort of mining operation, which of course is long gone, but the railroad bridge remains. It's also around this point that we started to see a few ATVs, and that's where those kind of smoke trails came from. Maybe about 3 or 4 of them. And the bridge is ahead, and this is the end point. If you're curious about the end point, just look in the description again, and the GPS coordinates for the end point will be there. And that's it. You've made it to the bridge, and if you've stayed on the trail, you're not blown up, and that's good. So you can, you know, this connects to other stuff, but for this video, this is the end point, and we just turned around and went back. And you have beautiful, just a beautiful view all around. Beautiful view of the old railroad bridge that went to the old mining district. And you can walk on this bridge, and people drive their ATVs over it. This video is of people picnicking under the bridge. taking pictures of it, all sorts of things. So it's a cool bridge, and it's an overall really lovely trail. You get to see an old bridge, you get to see a red canyon, you get to see signs that say there might be bombs nearby, and the bonus, which is the Salton Sea. California's Salton Sea is in the distance there. That kind of shiny line at the horizon is the Salton Sea. So another treat. If you've enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. Thank you.
Together.